Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News on Mid-Missouri CW starts now.
It was a chilly one today and windy too. Good evening, I'm Natalie Sapila.
And I'm Jim Rick. Thanks for joining us. A frost advisory is in effect. Let's send it over to Jenna for a check of our forecast.
Thanks, Jim and Natalie. Yes, we are going to be under a frost advisory for the rest of the evening and into those overnight hours as we go throughout the night. The counties that are going to be affected by this frost advisory are mainly along and north of I-70, and that's just going to affect any plants that you may have planted for your spring garden. So if you can bring those inside, do so, or you can cover them with a sheet or cloth as you go through the overnight hours to protect them from any of the cold weather. Now 36 is going to be our low for tomorrow. We will see a lot of sunshine as we go into tomorrow though, with a high of 57. Those clouds are going to start moving in ahead of our next system. We have more than a few chances of rain throughout the next week, and I'll break it all down in my full forecast.
A fire destroyed a home in Claysville this afternoon. That's in southern Boone County. You're taking a look at video from the scene. The gardener was the first to notice the fire. He and the owner grabbed a garden hose and tried to put out the flames before they called firefighters. No one was hurt.
City officials say crews are making progress on runway repairs at the Columbia Regional Airport. Crews continue to lay asphalt around the runway intersection. Also on the agenda, painting new stripes at the same location. The city says the project is still on schedule. COU closed Tuesday to iron out the bump where the runways meet on the north side of the airport. Both pilots and passengers complained the bump was a safety factor.
Tonight, Roots and Blues and BBQ announced its 2019 lineup for this September. Check it out. Maren Morris, John Prine, and Jason Isbell will all perform, along with dozens of other artists. The festival is at the end of September. This is the 19th year.
A Mid-Missouri school district is preparing for the unthinkable. It involves something called a bleeding control kit. KMU8's Leo Rocha is here in the studio to tell us who's using it and why.
Fulton Public School classrooms are all getting the upgraded first aid kits. They are meant to control heavy blood loss in case of an active shooter situation. They're part of the national Stop the Bleed campaign to help save lives before emergency services can get to the scene. District Superintendent Jack Cowherd says schools need to be ready for anything.
We're glad to have this, and I hate the thought of what you have to do in a mass casualty situation, but we have to be prepared for that.
Cowherd says the school district is working to get the new kits for its buses as well. Reporting in the studio, Leo Rocha, KMU 8 News.
Leukemia killed a St. Louis County prisoner who didn't know he had the disease. 20-year-old Lamar Catchings was found dead in his jail cell last month. He wasn't diagnosed until after he died. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch reports he was behind bars for 11 months for assault and armed criminal action.
Recent stats from MoDOT show 3,000 Missourians were injured in work zone crashes during the past 5 years. Republican State Senator Mike Bernskoetter and workers at a site in Jefferson City met as part of National Work Zone Safety Week. Since 2013, MoDOT employees have been killed by crashes in work zones. That hits home for one employee from the American Water Company. He says Missouri drivers should be especially careful when workers are nearby.
A recent USDA report says small farms are on the decline nationwide, but a closer look shows Missouri farmers are bucking the trend. Big farm operations are becoming more and more common. Missouri's numbers tell a different story. The USDA says about 3,000 new small farms opened in Missouri from 2012 to 2017. Those are new farms with fewer than 50 acres of land. The Missouri Farm Bureau says it's that type of farm that allows smaller operations to be successful.
A lot of people are getting some goats or some sheep and vegetable farms, some things that are a little bit atypical that don't require as much acreage just because the cost of land is so expensive these days.
According to the USDA, the average farm in Missouri is about 300 acres. That's nearly 35% below the national average. A Mizzou legal expert says Amazon is violating everyone's privacy. Amazon employees record conversations from Alexas in living rooms worldwide. The company says it's keeping its software up to date. Communications law professor Sandy Davidson says Amazon is breaking the law.
What Alexa enables is intrusion into your seclusion. And Amazon has not put people on sufficient notice of what Alexa is capable of doing.
The company offers instructions to disable Alexa's listening features, but users and Davidson say the tech giant isn't doing enough to be transparent.
Here's what's happening right now. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un says he is open to a third summit with President Trump. He says Trump has until the end of the year to offer acceptable terms for an agreement to salvage the high-stakes nuclear diplomacy. Kim made the comments during a speech today. His speech came hours after Trump and South Korea's president met in Washington and agreed on the importance of nuclear talks with North Korea.
Coming up, a Mizzou recruiting story. We're not talking sports, we're talking another field of learning.
Plus, Southwest makes some changes after the issues with Boeing planes.
We had a gusty day today with winds up to 38 miles an hour gusting around noon. We are on the backside of that front, so we're gearing up towards our next system. I'll break it down in my full forecast.
Never be surprised by the weather. Download the free KOMU8 Weather and Traffic app. Brought to you by Central Bank of Boone County.
It can haul over 3,200 pounds. It can even tow more than any pickup in its class. And it practically parks itself. Now, after all that hard work, a nice night on the town seems in order, don't you think?
Now get an F-150 at up to 20% below MSRP. That's over $10,500 in total savings. Only at your Quality Ford dealers.
We brought together outstanding customer favorites at Slumberland, priced so low, they won't last for long. You're going to save all over the store. So many to choose from, like this crazy comfortable La-Z-Boy recliner for just $2.99. All-time favorites at great prices, while they last. Find your new favorite piece for less, but hurry in. Slumberland, it's a good life.
Hey, look at you go. GoJDB.com equals you.com.
Oh, it was amazing. I literally did my online application with JD Byrider. It's pretty simple. So when I was ready to come in, I'd already been approved and ready to buy a car.
Easy approval for an affordable car with a 3-year, 36,000-mile, zero-deductible warranty. GoJDB.com and relax. Now look at you go.
Look at you go.
JD Byrider.
Peripheral artery disease was starving the blood flow to Julie's foot. Other facilities said that she'd probably wind up with a leg amputation. But the doctors and nurses at Boone Hospital Wound Healing Center wouldn't give up. They're working to save her leg and her quality of life with hyperbaric oxygen.
A sore that won't heal may require expert wound care. Contact Boone Hospital Wound Healing Center.
Thanks to Boone Hospital Wound Center, she's walking on the leg today.
Boone Hospital Wound Healing Center.
Hey Columbia, it's time for some spring cleaning. Join KOMU8 for Clean Up Columbia on Saturday, April 13th. Every year, more than 1,500 volunteers come together with their neighbors, coworkers, and friends to clean up Columbia's streets, streams, parks, and trails. Volunteers are of all ages and abilities, and you can request to work in a specific area of town. Let's work together to make our city a more beautiful place. Then after, join us for lunch at Twin Lakes Park. Register for Clean Up Columbia at como.gov.
The First Alert Weather Cam is brought to you by the law firm of Harper, Evans, Wade, and Nettemeyer. We will fight for you.
MU is addressing a statewide nurses shortage.
KOMU8's Caroline Dade is live from MU's campus with how the School of Nursing is adding new spaces for hands-on learning.
MU will start construction on a new building for the School of Nursing next spring. It will be smaller than the current building, but it will have more functional classroom space. The nursing school says it has denied more than 2,000 qualified students since 2005 because of a lack of space. An MU spokesperson says the new building will let the school admit almost 50% more students every year.
When you find that you've got a little bit of a clog in that pipeline, you've got to do anything that you can to clear it out. We really feel like this building will help us, will allow us to expand that pipeline and get more nurses into the field.
MU estimates the building will cost $30 million. It should be finished by spring 2022. Live from MU's campus, Caroline Dade, KOMU8 News.
MU's ROTC class was treated to a special training exercise this morning. Cadets got air support from a Chinook helicopter. It flew in from Overland Park, Kansas to pick up the cadets. It's a rarity for the cadets to get this hands-on experience. Lieutenant Colonel Gary Kerr played a large part in organizing the flight. Battalion Commander Kimberly Wood says she was grateful for the opportunity.
Not every ROTC program gets to do this. Our colonel pulled a lot of strings so that we'd be able to see what it's like in an active duty environment with real equipment that we don't necessarily always get day to day for labs and during training during the school year.
The Mizzou cadets partnered with cadets from Truman and Lincoln University for the training.
Southwest Airlines is altering its summer flight schedule to account for the absence of 737 MAX 8s. The FAA grounded the planes in March after 2 overseas crashes in the span of 5 months. Southwest is extending the schedule changes through August. Boeing is looking at the plane's automatic safety system, which is thought to have led to both fatal crashes. The vice president and a man running for president face off. They're from the same place, but they're at odds. We'll tell you why coming up.
We're going to have a cool night as we go through those overnight hours, but it seems to be a pretty mild Saturday. Sunday is our next system that'll move through, and I'll track those out hour by hour for you in my full forecast.
And you're taking a live look over downtown Columbia. KMU8 News will be right back.
Want the very best in outdoor cooking? Buy from the store known for the best indoor cooking, Downtown Appliance Home Center. Yep, we've got top names in outdoor cooking gear you won't find at home improvement or hardware stores. So for the best, including backyard grills, spectacular kitchens, smokers, even your boat, come on down to Downtown. Downtown Appliance Home and Outdoor Cooking Center, East Broadway, Columbia.
Get back to the roots of Christianity. You're invited every Saturday to Yahweh's Restoration Ministry near Jefferson City and Holt Summit. We have Bible study, kids classes, praise music, inspirational Torah-based sermons, food, and more. For directions, call 896-1000 or go to yrm.org.
Athletes 50 and older fight for the gold medal in more than 20 sports at the 25th Annual Missouri State Senior Games, June 6th through the 9th in Columbia. For more information and to register, visit moseniorgames.org.
The KOMU8 iPhone and Android News app is brought to you by University Subaru. Download yours today. Count on KOMU8 News to keep you informed.
Some passengers on flights through Columbia Regional Airport are blaming poor runway conditions for canceled or delayed flights.
Passengers complained about bumpy takeoffs and landings, and pilots said the runway is in poor condition.
With perspective straight from the source.
I'm big in transparency and honesty, and I felt like I was deceived yesterday.
And push notifications for breaking news and the latest information. KOMU8 News, coverage you can count on.
This is not one of those crossover pretender SUVs. This SUV has best-in-class all-weather capability and up to 31 miles per gallon highway, with a name earned through miles of mud, water, and snow. This is the legendary Jeep Cherokee. Celebrate Jeep Freedom Days with no payments for 90 days and $500 additional bonus cash on our best-selling vehicles.
Or get 0% financing for 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on all 2019 Jeep Cherokee models.
We have breaking news in Columbia. A man crashed his car and then tried to run away from Columbia police officers. KOMU8's Isaac Janes is live at the scene with details.
I'm live right outside the Phillips 66 on Business Loop, right off I-70, where just a few minutes ago, maybe about half hour, 45 minutes ago, a car was involved in a hit and run. The driver is what police told me. The driver was being searched for a possible domestic violence charge. He fled on foot. They caught him at Columbia Cemetery. Another passenger was in the car. Police said that she was transported to the hospital with minor injuries. The driver is in custody, but right now, Business Loop is blocked off. They were using a tow truck to get the car out of the road. I'll be here all night with more updates as we receive them. Live in Columbia, Isaac Janes, KOMU8 News.
Tonight, President Trump says he's strongly considering a controversial plan to send detained migrants to cities that don't enforce federal immigration laws, cities run by some of his biggest political adversaries. Tonight, top Democrats are blasting the idea. NBC's Peter Alexander reports.
Hours after top officials within his administration insisted the proposal had been rejected, President Trump tonight is still threatening to bus migrants detained at the border into sanctuary cities.
I call them the illegals. They came across the border illegally. We'll bring them to sanctuary city areas and let that particular area take care of it.
In sanctuary cities, local authorities have refused to prosecute undocumented immigrants or hand them over for deportation, a policy embraced mainly in Democratic areas that has infuriated the president.
Want more people in their sanctuary cities? Well, we'll give them more people. We can give them a lot. We can give them an unlimited supply. They're always saying they have open arms. Let's see if they have open arms.
Among the cities the White House considered targeting, according to the Washington Post, New York, Chicago, and San Francisco, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's home district.
It's just another notion that is unworthy of the presidency of the United States and disrespectful of the challenges that we face as a country.
According to the Post, the White House pitched the idea at least twice in the last 6 months, as the president was condemning migrant caravans from Central America approaching the U.S. border. But overnight, administration officials dismissed the report, calling it a suggestion that was floated and rejected.
Although Trump's advisors discussed the idea of having military build and run migrant tent camps at the border, 3 officials told NBC News this was very unlikely.
Today, Vice President Mike Pence and Democratic presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg had a lot to say about Christianity and LGBTQ rights. Pence is the former Indiana governor, and Buttigieg is currently the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, and gay. Pence opposes marriage equality. When asked if he believes being gay is a sin, Pence said he's, quote, a Bible-believing Christian.
I'm not critical of his faith. I'm critical of bad policies. I don't have a problem with religion. I'm religious too. I have a problem with religion being used as a justification to harm people, and especially in the LGBTQ community.
I hope that Pete will offer more to the American people than attacks on my Christian faith or attacks on the president as he seeks the highest office in the land.
Buttigieg will be back in Indiana Sunday for a campaign event. Today, Pence toured flood-damaged homes and farms in the Midwest. He met with farmers along the Missouri River at the Iowa-Nebraska border. Pence got a first-hand look at the widespread damage left behind. He says the federal government stands with the Midwest.
The man behind the college admissions scandal pleaded guilty today in court. Mark Riddell has been called the brains behind the scheme. Court documents say he earned $10,000 each time he would oversee a student taking a college entrance exam and change the student's answers. Court documents say he even took the test for one student. Riddell made almost $240,000 over 8 years.
We had quite a cool day compared to the last couple days we've had. We're taking a look at our time lapse over Jefferson City of today, where we only warmed up to 59 degrees. Couldn't reach that 60 if we tried. We did have a lot of clear skies, just a few wispy cirrus clouds in the sky. But other than that, we did see a lot of sunshine on the backside of the system that just rolled out of the area. We are currently sitting in the lower 50s to upper 40s. And we're going to continue to drop as we go throughout the rest of the evening and into those early morning hours on Saturday. We're going to drop so low that the National Weather Service has issued a frost advisory for the viewing area. Those who live along I-70 and north, this is going to be affecting you until about 9 a.m. tomorrow. You're going to want to bring inside any plants that you have potted, or if you can't bring them inside because they're planted in the ground, you'll want to put a sheet over those to protect them through the harsh, cold night that we're going to have as we go through those overnight hours. We will see a rebound in our temperatures, however, as we go into the start of the work week, but before we can get there, we have to reach a high of 44 degrees on Sunday. It's going to be a chilly one. We do have a couple times this week we can see some precipitation in the form of rain. On Wednesday, we'll be tracking a system that could potentially bring some severe thunderstorms. But for now, our main concern is our system that's going to move through on Sunday, and your eyes aren't deceiving you. Those are snowflakes. Let's track that out hour by hour. This system is going to be coming from the south down here in the Texas region. It's going to start to form and come north towards the Arkansas, Oklahoma region. We'll start to see it enter our area around 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday. And then we'll start to see some more widespread rain overnight in those early morning hours on Sunday. But as we push towards your morning commute hours, whether you're going to church or you're waking up early on Sunday, you're going to see some flurries outside. Now, no worries, this is not going to be an accumulating snow, just going to be some blowing flurries. And once they hit the ground, they'll melt because the ground is fairly warm because we've had those warmer temperatures. That should exit the region as we go into those warmer hours on Sunday, and that should be gone by dinner time on Sunday. It will clear up and warm up as we start the rest of the week. But for now, we are staying dry. Our overnight low is 36 degrees. You're going to want to cover those plants or bring them inside because it will have some morning frost. But we're going to stay mostly clear, and that should continue into tomorrow with our high of 57. It'll be a mild Saturday as we go throughout the day. We'll see some increase in clouds into the afternoon ahead of the next front that we'll see, and we might even see a drop of rain or two before the day ends. Sunday is going to be our next rainmaker. We will see some flurries in there. On Monday, we will warm up into the 70s. What a jump, 34 to 70, and we'll see a couple more chances for rain in the week, but we will stay warm and seasonal throughout the next work week.
Jenna, thank you very much. Spring football wraps up for the Tigers.
Tomorrow you'll get a chance to see the new faces. We'll have a preview next in sports.
It's FFO Home Spring Clearance with added discount coupons for even greater savings. Big Man Power Recliner, just $6.98, and take an extra $50 off. Feature-packed dual power reclining sectional, $25.98, and take an added $200 off. You can save up to an extra $1,000 depending on your purchase. That makes our everyday low prices an even bigger deal. Come in and see just how much you get for your home furnishing dollars through April 15. Amazing spring coupon savings at FFO Home.
It's time to turn heads in a Toyota. Turn up your tunes in the Corolla hatchback with Apple CarPlay compatibility. Turn up your tech in Corolla with pre-collision system standard. Turn up your fun in the Camry with Alexa connectivity. This spring, turn up the heat in a Toyota. Right now, lease a new 2019 Corolla for $209 a month or get $2,000 customer cash on Corolla. Find yours at buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
I've always been proud to call the Midwest home. I grew up working on my grandparents' farm, so I know what a hard day's work looks like. And you can bet that farming and weather go hand in hand. Storms always mesmerize me, watching them grow over the plains. I wanted to know not only how to forecast them, but how to get it right. Turns out it takes long hours, from analyzing developing systems to providing up-to-the-minute notifications. But I love every second of it. That's why I show up every day, ready to take on the storm and provide you a forecast you can count on.
Now, from the Ford Sports Desk, KOMU8 Sports.
Good evening, everybody. Mizzou football wraps up its spring ball tomorrow with its annual spring game. This will be the third scrimmage of the spring, but the public's first chance to get a look at Kelly Bryant in a Tigers uniform. As for those uniforms, the Tigers are going to be throwing it back with a nifty design for tomorrow. Players understand it's just spring, but there is an air of confidence.
It's spring, so you can't show too much, but they should see, a well-improved player, very veteran, savvy player. So it's going to be a real sight to see.
That's just been a big emphasis for Coach Olin's just been stressing, was on and off the field, making sure that we finish out, especially spring ball on the right note, just last day, spring game. Then also finishing spring semester on the high note. Like I said, like little things is going to lead to the big things, that's going to put us in a position to where we want to be at, when fall rolls around.
Here's some news on Mizzou basketball. KJ Santos will be transferring out of the program. The sophomore forward played in 20 games this year and averaged just over 12 minutes a game and a point per game last season. Santos originally transferred from Illinois Chicago to Mizzou last year. He will now look for his third school in as many years. Mizzou baseball is back home tonight for their biggest series so far this year. They host the 8th-ranked LSU Tigers, who is tied at the top of the SEC West. Both of Mizzou's SEC Series wins this season have come at home. In fact, Mizzou is 14-2 at home this year. Right now, the Tigers closed the gap and tied it up 11-11 and are in the top of the 8th. We'll have those highlights at 10. Mizzou softball is on the road this weekend facing Ole Miss. First game of the day, Mizzou lost a heartbreaker. Ole Miss walked it off with a 2-strike, 2-out home run in the bottom of the 8th. The second game held a different tune, though, but the Tigers couldn't come out on top. Ole Miss kept the lead from the second inning with 1 run, and they stopped the Tigers from getting on the board. And that's all for sports.
Dogs can be a best friend, and even more so.
How a hospice is finding this out.
We brought together outstanding customer favorites at Slumberland, priced so low, they won't last for long. You're going to save all over the store. So many to choose from, like this crazy comfortable La-Z-Boy recliner for just $2.99. All-time favorites at great prices, while they last. Find your new favorite piece for less, but hurry in. Slumberland, it's a good life.
It can haul over 3,200 pounds. It can even tow more than any pickup in its class. And it practically parks itself. Now, after all that hard work, a nice night on the town seems in order, don't you think?
Now get an F-150 at up to 20% below MSRP. That's over $10,500 in total savings. Only at your Quality Ford dealers.
Now here's a look at what we're following on KMU8 News at 10. It may be spring, but a massive storm is hitting the Midwest and affecting millions.
Which states are under weather alerts as emergency crews are working to clear the roads? Jenna.
With the last couple of days being so warm, we've been spoiled, really. We're going to dip down as we go throughout the night tonight, and we're still going to be under that frost advisory. So if you have any plants that you want to keep and make sure they don't die, keep them inside or cover them. We're only going to warm up to about 57 degrees tomorrow, but we will see lots of sunshine along the way. It should be a mild Saturday, and we will start to see some rain as we go into those overnight hours ahead of our next system.
A man is sharing his furry best friend with others in Missouri. One owner and his dog are part of the Dogs on Call program. Since 2015, dogs like Husker come in and spend time with the patients and their families. They're certified therapy dogs there to comfort patients when they need it most. The dog's owner says he sees just how well the dogs help out patients and their families. How
Very
cute.
nice, absolutely. I can't wait to see the Mizzou baseball final score. 11-11 in the eighth inning with
tight
LSU.
in the eighth inning, yes. So we'll have those highlights at 10, so we're looking forward to that.
All right, pitchers are not having a very good night over at Taylor Stadium.
Oh, no.
That is our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great night.
On air, online, on Facebook, on Twitter, on the News app, and the Weather app. KOMU 8 News. Coverage you can count on.
Clogged pores are disgusting.